can you tell me Luo people of South Sudan apart from Acholi? Hi there, brother. No problem. So I'm gonna go through the Luo of South Sudan. Now, I think for me, one of the easiest Luo group to talk about, even without me reading anything, is probably the Luo of South Sudan. Now, I said this to a friend of mine, and he said, "Oh, Irene, that's because you are South Sudanese. That's why it's so easy for you to go through the Luo of South Sudan." But I don't know if that's the case. I feel like the Luo of South Sudan, it's more straightforward, and there's no Luo that were assimilated. In South Sudan, they were Luo, whereas if you come to Uganda, there seems to be a lot more Luo that became Luo through assimilation than the Luo of South Sudan. But of course, also, the Luo of Kenya is easy because there's only one group. The Luo of Tanzania is easy. The Luo of Ethiopia, the Anywa people, which is only one Luo group, and the Luo of Congo, also Jonam, which is also one Luo group. But going through the Luo groups overall, like especially with countries with different Luo groups, which is Uganda and South Sudan. It's only Uganda and South Sudan, by the way. So the easiest one for me is South Sudan. The South Sudan Luo is a lot easier to go through than the Ugandan Luo. The Ugandan Luo is a bit more complicated to know who is who. But yeah. So the Luo of South Sudan, like you said, apart from Acholi, but I'm going to call Acholi, but I'm not going to start with Acholi. So the Luo of South Sudan are the Shilluk. Number one, the Shilluk, or the Sholo people from the Sholo kingdom. I think from time to time, I talked about how I absolutely admire the Sholo kingdom and how they carry their culture, the respect that they have towards their king, Padith, how they respect him, and how the Sholo community, how they value their culture. It's one of my favorite things that I love about the Sholo kingdom, or the Shilluk people. So now that's number one, the Shilluk people. Number two, we have the Turi Luo. The Turi people, that's again another Luo of South Sudan. And then we have the Anywa, or the Anywa people. So we have the Anywa of Ethiopia that are located in Gambela, and then we also have Anywa people in South Sudan. So that's the Anywa people. After the Anywa people, then we have what I like to call them the Luo of Barkazal. Now, the reason why I like to call them the Luo of Barkazal, that is because they are known by a lot of people as the Jurchol, but their proper name is actually not the Jurchol. They were given that name. The proper way of calling them is not Jurchol, but rather the Luo people. But to distinguish them from other Luo group, I tend to call them the Luo of Barkazal, but others know them as the Jurchol, which is incorrect. And I think I saw it somewhere now that some people like to distinguish them by calling them Luo Jopa Dimo, the Luo of Jopadimo, but I like to call them the Luo of Barkazal. So that's the Luo of Barkazal. After that, then we have the Peri people. So the Peri people are actually located in the Eastern Equatoria. I also shared on this group a few times how much I love them, and how growing up the Peri people were actually my neighbors, and I used to not understand why the Peri language or the Peri accent was really close to the Acholi people, because when they were talking I could understand them, and I didn't understand why back then. I didn't know much about Luo people and how we are all somehow connected to one another. So that's the Peri people. They're located in Eastern Equatoria. And then we have the Acholi people. So the Acholi people are also located in the same state with the Peri people, which is in the Eastern Equatoria. And then we have the Maban people, the Maban Luo. The Maban Luo, that's another group of the Luo of South Sudan. And then we have the Balanda Bor. That is another Luo group in South Sudan. So let's go over who are the Luo group of South Sudan one more time. So we have the Sholo, or the Shilluk people. We have the Acholi people, we have the Turi people, we have the Peri people, we have the Luo of Barkazal, and we have the Maban Luos, and we have the Balanda Bor. So these are the Luo of South Sudan. Thank you very much for your comment, and I hope that was a very helpful video. Now, I try to keep it short because I like keeping my videos short and precise and to the point, so that it's easier for people to learn. I believe that you can go straight to the point to avoid prolonging stuff that people might have to leave it halfway. But thank you very much. Those are the Luo of South Sudan. Thank you very much.